And as always, we're going to be looking for accurate context, good risk management, and always exercising good patience.
Anytime you're talking about fundamentals in a market and direction, fundamentals take a little bit of time to play out.
We got crude oil today, kind of trading yesterday's value area really nicely, low to high.
That's what we're here for, is to put ourselves in the best success. A trading routine does that, builds that habit, lets you know what to work on, what to reflect on, and what to improve on the next day.
I'm going to try it.
Good afternoon, friends and traders. Welcome to the Market Recap. I am Dan Hodgman. And once again, John Hoagland's joining me here. John, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? How's it going, Dan?
Good. So, John, you caught that rip up today. That's why you got a hat on because your hair's so windblown.
Yes.
The equity run.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was after that first half hour today, we saw some pretty decent delta divergence, which is sometimes a sign of longer term buyers coming into the marketplace. We'll know that tomorrow if we see a jump in open interest.
Yeah, you'll make sure to keep us posted on that one tomorrow morning at 7:45 with the market forecast. So really quick, let's just get a quick rundown what happened in these markets, and then John and I are going to sit here and bullshit for a little bit and talk about our week. First and foremost, crude oil. John, if crude oil didn't set up for a great break this morning, opens up, checks yesterday's swing high, checks the overnight high, breaks right down to, runs right to settlement price. And gets a nice two-way trade from there. You sell the open, you buy the break to settlement price, and you rally it back up, and you walk away with a few grand per contract you're trading. Then you get the equity markets. S&Ps open up after a big run last night, continuing with that run all day long. Really a strong positive day here in the S&Ps, up 1.7%. NASDAQ, no different there. NASDAQ was extremely strong. Volatile for a little bit as it was kind of swinging around, but really traded levels that we like to see. What do you say whenever, John, you're trading a trending market? If market's trending higher, what are you looking for?
A way in.
Exactly.
Don't fight it.
Don't fight it. Find those points of weakness. And we had a few of them really nicely here today. When you look at the market, like if you're looking at an hourly, maybe it's a little tougher to see, but you get a little bit smaller, that 30-minute to 15-minute chart, you see some really great opportunities to buy the weakness in an uptrend. It sounds like it's an absolute cliche, right? Trend is your friend. But if you can spend enough time sitting here staring at these charts and you recognize, hey, here's weakness, this market continues to kind of struggle to attract new sellers on this pullback. Don't think about it. Hey, the reversal's on. Go with that trend. Wait until trend tells you something else and it starts making new lows. And we start to see new low after new low after new low. Then you can start to think, okay, now market stage change. We're rotating back inside. Not the case here for either of these equity markets. Hell of a move to the upside. Now, gold, on the other hand, definitely had the wild party yesterday, hung over as hell today. Didn't really do much. Gold runs up to 18,000, breaks down to settlement price down at 95. I mean, you got a $5 range in that market. You're chipping away. It's
certainly tough. A hangover after yesterday,
without a doubt. And you got the euro does exactly what we were just talking about, looking for in the equity market when it's trending higher. Euro continuously made new lows all day. So when you start to recognize market stage change from the overnight and yesterday's trend up, looking for those points of strength, find those points of strength as it's making lower highs. You look to short that, run that down to settlement price, holds around settlement until the end of the day here. Caught a quick little pop. And the 10-year note grinds higher, continues with the trend we've been seeing the last few days. End of the day,
another overnight inventory adjustment.
Well said, John. So, John, how's your week been?
It's been good. Trading has been good. Usually a slow starter on Mondays, but I've had a good middle of the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. All some pretty good opportunities. Today was probably my favorite day of the week, because we did have the S&P's directional. We had, delta divergence, which tells me, yeah, I'm not going to be fighting any longer term buyers. It was a nice kind of an we was talking to my personal performance coaching clients earlier today, and we were like, it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of energy or emotion in the market, in the S&Ps and in the NASDAQ today. But looking at the profile, we had just one time framing higher all day long up until, we got up near the highs, where it just kind of held there all day. But we still have negative delta. It looks like we still have some longer term buyers in this marketplace. So tomorrow offers some more opportunity. If we have a big jump in open interest, that's going to say, yeah, we did have some buyers in this market, and they may start to protect themselves and their positions from pullbacks. One thing I'm just noticing is the volume in the New York Stock Exchange is pretty much even what it was yesterday. So we didn't lose any volume on this upside move. If we saw buyers, if we saw an increase in open interest, that's saying that the auction to the upside is likely going to be healthy. We also had a bit of a trend line that we opened above today. We could not get back down below. Hence, buyers came in.
Absolutely. And something to think about too, when you look at these stock markets are really reactive to the news. Well, we know we got that debt ceiling pushed. We know the government's staying open for a few more months. That's going to be a major factor down the road, but we're thinking short term. We're keeping our blinders on a little bit. When we don't have any bad news, we saw this market struggle to make both equity, S&Ps and NASDAQ struggle to continue to low side. What happens when you struggle to attract new sellers? Buyers start to overpower. Buyers overpower. We get back on this uptrend. NASDAQ now truly accepting up above 15,000. That could take us even higher without any bad news, right? If there's no bad news.
No bad news. The grind's higher. Now, speaking of news, we had continuing in initial jobless claims today. They were both smaller than expected, lower than expected. So that's a good sign. We also had, some PPI numbers here that did not necessarily come out all that tremendous. Year over year, am I in the right day here? Year over, yeah, we got the right thing here. Year over year, they were missing something here. PPI, it all kind of came out a little bit less than expected, but a lot of folks kind of looking at that as bad news. Hang on a second here.
Well, on top of that, we also do have earnings coming through. The banks coming out this morning definitely helped ignite this upside move. I believe it was, I'm drawing a blank on who it was. I was reading an article on them this morning. Morgan Stanley. Morgan Stanley had a huge knockout quarter. Major returns for all their investors. So, things like that. That's really going to help these markets continue this upside. We continue to see energies soar. So there's a lot going on out there, and definitely it's been a hell of a week.
Yeah. Well, tomorrow we're also looking for earnings from Goldman Sachs, PNC, Truist Financial, just a few for tomorrow morning, but Goldman Sachs certainly a biggie.
Yeah, we're going to want to pay attention to that one. And if today's banks are any telltale sign of what that's going to be, basically they're all running very similar stuff. I got a feeling they're going to show some decent numbers as well. But truthfully, looking back on this week, it's been a volatile one. It's been a hectic one. As you can see, John had to put that hat on because of the wild ride here today. I feel that. I've been all over the place. A lot of movement in these markets, a lot of opportunity, a lot of stress sometimes too. You got to take care. He's trying to get the dog up on his lap, I can see.
She's attacking me over here. I don't know what's going
on. Really quick, I want to say hello to everyone real quick. Ricardo, good to see you. I thought we were going to go lower earlier to yesterday's point of control, but I'll take that naked point of control up above. Nice. Felix, good to see you. Miguel, Lemur, good to see you. Mikkel, frustrated. I had a closing trade on ES and I cut it flat, being impatient. Trade took 90 minutes to play out, but it worked. Something to think about that I like to do whenever I'm putting on a trade, more than just looking for the quick pop or anything like that. Make sure you put some sort of reference around how long it should take to play out. If you set those expectations ahead of time and say, hey, look, this is a trade I'm looking to see play out throughout the day. Looking at NASDAQ, I was talking to one of my buddies this morning, and his thought process is I'm looking to see NASDAQ really end the day near that 2% up, and pretty damn close to that, 1.8. He had that plan, and he tried to wait for the opportunity to present to get in on that trade. And then it was ride it out for the day. So if you set some sort of precedence around that, that'll help you out. Dr. VJ, good to see you. Ricardo, weigh in with proper risk, harder than it sounds. Yes, proper risk is always difficult. Dan, how are you? I'm doing well, thank you. How are you? Is it possible to get your Trade of 8 template? I don't know. I have no idea. Just white charts, 30 minutes, and that's about it. There's really no template to it. 30-minute candlestick white charts. And then I just manually put everything in there. You can put some moving averages on if you want. I like the 20-period EMA, SMA, and the whole moving average. Those ones are what I like for short time frame stuff. And then on a daily, it's that 50, 100, and 200-day moving average. Today, my volume is low. How about I turn it up a little bit? Thank you, Dr. VJ. Vince, good to see you. And Adrian, good to see you as well. Hope you had a green day as well. So
Can I mention something to Mikhail?
Yeah.
Mikhail, frustrated, had a losing day, cut it flat, being impatient. When we have risk on in any of these markets, time stops, time slows. Remember, we are in the markets environment. The market's not in our environment. 90 minutes in market time is a hiccup, but it's so painful for us to just sit and wait for these things to play out for us. Very easy to become impatient. Just remember, this is the market's time. Our time stops whenever we have risk on. Isn't that true, Dan? Doesn't it seem like you'll have a position on and it seems like it's been an hour and it's been 2 minutes?
We've done videos on this. I think we've talked about it a billion times. I talk about it a lot just myself. It's having some sort of design distraction to help that time move. I've talked about how I play Candy Crush on my phone a lot when I'm in the middle of something, just so I stop watching. I mean, I find myself doing it too. If you're down on the day and you're still within all your rules and the game plan, and you're good to continue to trade, but you put that next trade on after having maybe 2 losers, and it's a little anxious, and you're thinking about it. And if you start watching it and you see it make $100, $200 a contract, but it's not playing out yet as you had anticipated, it's really easy to go click. I'm taking that profit. I'm doing it. I'm waiting. And then the market keeps going. And then you were like, oh shit, I should have stayed in that one. So then you try and find another entry point, and you kind of start to hurt yourself. So if you go in, you've got a plan around that trade. Do something to distract yourself. If it's
Here's
put
a
on
distraction.
Netflix,
Live with a velociraptor.
There you go. There you go. Mine has barely come in the house today. So it's design distraction. It could be playing a game on your phone, putting Netflix on. I have both those going pretty much all day. I've given up watching the news just because it bores the hell out of me. I'd rather have something more enjoyable on the television. So try and find something to create that distraction when you're in these trades. You're trading with stops and profit targets in. So if it rips in your favor, great. You get stopped out on your profit target, outstanding. Or you hit that stop loss. Hey, it's all right. I let this trade go. There's so many different ways of doing it. Find something to distract yourself. Make a sandwich, grab the dog, something.
Yeah, our good Dr. Menaker always wanted to learn how to play the guitar. So while he was waiting for alignment or sitting in trades, waiting for profit targets, he taught himself how to play the guitar on YouTube. That's a pretty good design distraction.
I wish I had like some sort of rhythm in my bones to learn to play guitar. but there's no rhythm. I got nothing. I can barely keep a beat with tapping my foot.
Well, there's ways to improve that. Practice. A guy was walking down the street in New York and asked a stranger, how do you get to Carnegie Hall? And the stranger says, practice, practice, practice.
Right. Here's a good question, John. How do you sense today NQ keeps moving versus it's been kind of zigzag for a few days?
Okay. I'm not going to be able to share the charts, but I want to just kind of think about what I'm looking at here. The NASDAQ and the S&Ps have been in a short time frame downtrend, right? The S&Ps more than the NASDAQ has somewhat broken that kind of short time frame day chart trend to the downside. There's a trend line that we have closed above now in the S&Ps. We're approaching it in the NASDAQ. NASDAQ, I think, is held together a little bit stronger. It was a big, strong update today. We saw negative delta. We're watching to see if the open interest increases tomorrow. Volume is a little bit off today in the NASDAQ, but that's okay. The U.S. equity futures don't tend to bring a lot of volume when they go up. They bring all the volume when they go down. So the zigzag we've been in, we broke out above it. We're always looking to see the market when it's range bound. When it breaks out and accepts, that's a bigger move. Range bound, we trade to fade the extremes. Upon acceptance outside of that, we go with that, which we sort of did today.
Yep. That acceptance is such a big thing. Vince is talking about he's going to start boxing in the basement as a distraction. Vince, I have a bag outside. I work it just about every single day. I fought for a long time, boxing and mixed martial arts. So I fully support that one. It's a great way to get stress out, especially after a crappy day. You have a rough day, go find the bag, go work the bag. I've got a 250-pound water bag that I use, and I absolutely love it.
I am a 250-pound water bag.
Vince,
I know Vince. Vince has had some pretty good frustrations lately with platforms and all kinds of things. So I think it'd be a great idea for you to go get the heavy bag down in the basement.
I would agree. I mean, I got one when I was younger. I started boxing when I was like 12 years old. I started fighting martial arts when I was 21. As long as it's in a safe environment, it is a great stress relief, hitting something as hard as you possibly can. I fully support getting a good heavy bag and working it as much as possible.
Yeah, that's a healthy way to hit something.
It's in a safe environment, not someone else. Don't take what you learned doing
it's not
that.
A screen or a computer or a mouse. As long as you don't hurt yourself, you can't hurt anything.
Exactly. We got a question here from Adrian. When someone passes the combine, is there a process that evaluates their trading history prior to awarding a funded account? Adrian, we definitely always are reviewing accounts, not just when you pass, but throughout the whole process. We're always watching things. But truthfully, if you pass step 2 and you're off to a funded account, nothing's going to stop you there. It's 100%. You're getting that funded account. If we see something, we may just reach out and say, hey, here's something to work on as you get into that funded account. But that's about it. All right, John, real quick, let's run through some of these stocks we like to look at, because stocks are always so fun. But first, I want to take a look at our Bitcoin here today. I got a buddy I was talking to yesterday, picked up a good little overnight buy in his Bitcoin. He keeps loading up his position. He's got some good ones going on there. So that's always exciting. But we got Bitcoin today trading $57,895 a coin. I'll take a couple of those. I wouldn't mind 2 of them.
It'd be like having $100,000 in your pocket.
I'd be unless too bad you can't hold them.
I know, right? Like flip a coin. Hey, let's flip a Bitcoin.
Right? Maybe one day. You'll have like a digital coin that, like, it's like a, those new credit cards, you just like, you touch it and it can scan it. maybe they'll have like a coin like that. You can just touch your Bitcoin card, but it's an actual coin, and you can just touch it and you can pay with it. That'd be kind of cool.
It's
Maybe
just
that's
like
something
just
I'll
like
invent.
knocks a little nick off the coin because it's not a whole coin anymore.
God, you're old. Such a boomer. No, the technology in it, John. It's like Apple
I
Pay.
know. Be like a chip or something. I know.
Like I'm thinking like Apple Pay, where you just touch your phone to something and it pays. I'm just giving you a hard time.
No, you're right. I am old.
I'm the only one that can make fun of you for that.
Yeah, pretty much. Everybody does.
Our Airbnb stack that we're long at $148 is up to $170, down a little bit here today though, but rally up to 176, broke down to 170.50. But our meme stocks, really no change when we look at our GameStop here trading. My gosh darn computer's freezing up. Here we go. GameStop, $183.83. AMC has the up day, $40.07. Tesla, so happy, up above 800, $818 a share. And then lastly, Robinhood, still pretty much floating that $40 range, $40.93. And then no surprise, stock skyrocket. What does VIX do? Flat lines and goes to the bottom. 16.9 is where the VIX is at right now. So opportunity to galore. Hopefully you guys found something out there.
That's 9% lower, 9% in the VIX.
You know, you think about it, like I would never trade the VIX. Not a safe product to trade. Dangerous, whipsaw-y. But like a day like today, even if you came in this morning and you looked at, all right, stocks are up, VIX should be down. You're going from 17.5 down to 16.9, but you're sitting at 17.5, floating that until about 1 o'clock noon today. That's not fun to trade. That's tough. Try and avoid that. But it's definitely a good indicator to keep your eye on. You got Amazon dropping off some packages.
No, just somebody walking by with a dog.
Oh yeah, always a good trigger.
She must be getting hungry.
Little dog, huh? All right, John, before we get into this date in history, any other thoughts, just total on this week?
No, I'm glad tomorrow's Friday. Tomorrow's Friday. We are all gonna have a good morning, and then we're gonna call it a day, and we're gonna go do something fun and nice for ourselves, because it's hard work, man. We
That's
deserve
an
it.
understatement. That is quite the understatement. I am definitely looking forward to tomorrow being over. Do a little bit in the morning, knock some personal stuff out in the afternoon, and start the weekend. For those of you that like raking leaves, I've got plenty. And if you want to go to work, I got some extra rakes, John.
Oh, damn. And this is the one weekend I'm not coming up.
Dag nabbit. All right. Well, I'm going to run through this date in history, or do you have anything that you want to add for this date in history?
I feel like there's something that I'm missing. I like this day in music. I like the birthdays, and today is Justin Hayward's birthday. He was born in 1946, but if you're familiar with a band called the Moody Blues, he was the lead singer and guitarist. One of my guilty pleasures is the Moody Blues. I just absolutely love listening to them. There's the Monkees. 1967 started on BBC in the UK. Today it was actually a second series of the Monkees TV show was dropped.
I did forget. We do have some questions here, so I want to make sure we answer everything. Sure. Car, it's possible to move from a 50K to 100K after the funded account performance in the 50K. No, not necessarily. You're always going to be in an account the size of what you started in, but you can work with their risk manager for possible a little bit more leverage as you grow that account. You know, we're not going to say no to anything, but we're not going to give you a lot more risk on the table when you get into it. But you can definitely work with the risk manager as you grow that account to get some opportunities.
Yeah, it's performance based. If you're doing well, we want to foster your your ability to continue and to expand.
Absolutely. I think we had a funded trader today put up close to $30,000. So,
Wow.
you know, traders like that, if you're coming in putting those kind of numbers up, we are more than happy to work with that.
Absolutely.
And then we're going to be on top of you, making sure you're retaining what you're making and you're not giving too much back. Bridget's got a question. What percentage of traders do some physical exercise before they trade? Well, between John and I, maybe it's 50%.
I usually try and get out for a walk, or either with the dog or without the dog, just to kind of get the blood flowing. You know, coffee is probably a big part of that exercise routine. But I always try and, you know, not just hop out of bed, sit down and start working, you know, do something and get the blood flowing.
John, I'm going to put this out there. I don't think coffee and exercise are one that are supposed to be connected to each other. I think exercise is supposed to help cut back on the coffee.
Well, I mean, take a look at some of the energy drinks that people are drinking as they go out to the gym. A lot of them are definitely containing caffeine.
Caffeine is one. Absolutely. I do take pre-workout supplements. There is some that have caffeine involved. Those are the ones that are recommended against. The one that I use don't contain amino acids and that kind of stuff, you know. I do pre-workouts every day, but I don't use anything that has caffeine in it. But yeah, I think majority of traders out there, you definitely got to do something to kind of wake your body up. You can't roll from bed straight to the screen and think you're going to have a successful day. Get out there, do something. I go to the gym every morning and I go for a run. Something. Get out there, do something. It's great for yourself.
Ricardo says, I think he remembers when we were doing the coach's playbook and I said I start the day with a 5-mile run.
Yeah, how's that going for you?
I've got it. I got the first mile done.
There you go. Took you all week.
All week.
Is it normal to trade like 70% on the practice account and then the rest 25% or less on funded or combine account? I assume you mean winning percentage 75% to 25%. You know, there's a huge difference when you go from just a simple practice account to a combine or a live account. There's an added pressure. John's got a great explanation. I won't take too much of it, but you continually elevate yourself. It's the same process, but it keeps getting a little bit harder and a little bit harder each step you take.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. I just want to make sure we're getting through everything. Charles, good to see you. Red day, but we survived. John, your analysis on NQ was spot on as usual. Got in and out on the short, but shaken out on the long. Lemur, think hard, don't work hard. That quote to me sums up what trading is. You're working hard when you overtrade, take trades without analyzing the chart, and being impatient and not thinking about risk. Couldn't agree more. You're working way too hard if you're not putting the time in it ahead.
Mm-hmm.
NQ should be fun if Globex starts filling more gaps. 15,175. Hope we can begin to climb to new highs. John, if you had a choice, do you want to see equities break or rally? What would you prefer?
I like to see them rally.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to take a lot of the volatility out of the marketplace, but certainly makes my stocks and 401k look nice. And I still see some pretty decent day time frame opportunities. And if it's not in the S&Ps, it'll be in another product.
See, I'm going to be the contrarian here. I'd rather see him break hard for me so I can keep loading back up. I loaded up good last year on the break. Haven't had my break this year to keep loading up on my long-term stuff.
That's why the market always rallies when you're not here.
True. It's very true. I would take a nice 15 or 20% sell off so I can buy more. I'd be okay with that. Sitting on some cash. I can't put cash in at the highs.
No.
So I would be okay with a little bit of a sell off. Let's see if funded in the 50K, then at the same time, a trader can buy 150K and work on that. So once someone got funded at the 150K, since they can't trade both, Can the trader then drop the 50K account? Absolutely. You're more than welcome to close the account at any time you want. If you passed another combine, I'm going to just be straightforward and blunt with you. Why start something else when you've already made it to the funded level? If you're growing that 50K account, who cares about trying to go back in the combine? Focus on growing that account. Like we said, if you start building that account, we'll work with you to open up a little bit more opportunity for trading. I wouldn't waste my time or money trying to start the combine again once I get funded. That's a personal thing. I think that's just,
you're performing well in any of them, you are going to be able to expand your horizons, if you will.
absolutely. And I'm not sitting here saying you get there and we're going to open up your risk a ton. But if you have a strong, hefty account balance, we're willing to work with you.
Yeah, it's performance based.
Yeah, case by case, you reach out to the risk manager. You've got a lot of money in that account. You're continuously showing growth and success after success there. We're absolutely going to work with you, but I'm not going to sit here and say, we're going to open you up to $5,000 daily loss limits right away, just because you got some money in the account. That's all going to be case by case. Once you trade well in a 50K, you can trade for good. All right. Well, John, we are over a half hour here. I'm going to run through this date in history then, and then we'll kick it to the dad joke and get on out of here.
Dad joke.
All right. First and foremost, in 1947, Chuck Yeager becomes the first person ever to fly faster than the speed of sound. 1947. Only less than 50 years earlier we were finally having the first men in flight, the Wright brothers down in North Carolina on Wrightville Beach, where I used to live. Let's see here, John. We got some music history for you. On this day, do you know what this day, 1957, was the number one hit?
Hound Dog.
No, Wake Up Little Susie by the Everly Brothers.
Wake up, little Susie. Got it.
I don't know that song.
You know that song.
Pre my time. And then the last one I got for us here. Last one I got is on this day, 1964. Martin Luther King Jr. Wins the Nobel Peace Prize. I don't know if I like the term wins, because then you're creating a competition. I think he's awarded, kind of like how we talked about military honors. He was awarded that Nobel Peace Prize for some of the great stuff he did. All right, John, you got a dad joke for us. Nope, never heard it.
Kids these days.
The song's 60 years old.
So it's music.
It's like grandparents' music.
That's when music was music. So you probably you put a lot of gas in your truck, and you're probably checking your tires a lot. You remember when it used to be free for air at the gas station? Now it's $1.50. You know why?
It's free here in town.
Inflation.
But that is a pretty good one. That is a pretty good one.
Yeah.
All right. Well, John, thanks for joining me here today.
See, David, Ricardo, they know that song.
It's not my dad's music, David. My dad wasn't even born in 1957.
Well, neither was I.
Yeah, so it's your dad's music.
Yeah, probably.
It's your dad's music. So it's like my dad's music. So it's like my grandparents' music.
I think that's actually the year my older brother was born, and he's considerably older than I am. Those of you that watch the forecast know he watches it just about every morning.
I mean, I was born in the 80s, and I don't constitute 80s music as my music because I wouldn't grow up in it. I grew up really more in the 90s, and the 90s music is my music.
Well, yeah, but really your music is George Jones, Johnny Cash.
Probably the next
stuff.
a little newer era.
Newer
like
era.
Garth Brooks, Joe Diffie,
George,
that type of stuff.
George Strait,
Tracy Lawrence. I like 90s country.
All right.
All right. Well, John, you'll be back tomorrow morning, 7:45 with the market forecast.
7:45 Friday market forecast. See you there.
Awesome. Well, John, thank you for joining me today.
Always a pleasure.
Everybody out there, you guys get out there. Have a great day. I won't be here tomorrow. So have a great day. Stay safe. Wash your hands. Trade smart and trade well. Look forward to seeing you guys in the markets. Take care, everybody.